Hi there. As you probably know, oil companies spend a bunch of time and money building oil rigs and platforms. And I mean, we're talking serious dough here. Man-hours too. And all the companies have to comply with strict rules and regulations, which is pretty difficult and time-consuming. And one of the major stress factors here is managing information overload. So let's get into specifics. Equipment documentation. It's a necessity, but it can also be a pain in the, well, you know where. Let's say an oil company wants to build a new platform. Now, every company has their own set of demands for documenting every single piece of installed equipment. And this is how it works. The requirements are handed over in all sorts of ways and formats to a few major contractors. They read most of it, then they put their own company front pages on it and send it to a bunch of suppliers. And what do the suppliers do? Exactly the same thing as the contractors. They read some of it, add some more, and hand it off to a whole bunch of manufacturing companies. By this time, a lot is probably lost in translation already, and the sum of these documentation requirements are just staggering. So now the manufacturers start building or assembling equipment. And what else do? They create some more documentation. Only this time, it's based on their understanding of what will cover the requirements that were handed down the supply chain. Information in all sorts of shapes and formats are now being sent back up the supply chain, creating a mountain of documentation packages. And another thing, manufacturers often deliver the same equipment to several different suppliers, each with its own set of documentation. So now the operator ends up with a bunch of different copies for the same equipment, installed in several different locations. The end result is a mind-boggling load of information written by different people with different knowledge, based on different understanding of the different requirements. And if the operator suddenly needs to find a specific piece of information about a failing piece of equipment in order to replace it, well, you get the idea. So, what's the deal about EqHub? What we've done is we've collected the operator's requirements, and then we've standardized them, obviously according to international standards and national regulations. Pretty smart, right? Then we've made templates for delivery of all standard equipment. Now, when an oil company specifies what they need on a platform, the manufacturers can enter the information electronically into EqHub's predefined and approved forms. And all they need to do is pretty much fill in the blanks. Then they hit the send button, and there it is, instantly available to all members. And they do it just once. When a manufacturer delivers documentation for one project through EqHub, it's there for all future projects. If you need to access information about a specific component, you'll find it exactly where you'd expect it to be. Let's say the manufacturer now delivers the same piece of equipment to 12 different companies, to then be installed on 18 different platforms. Just how much documentation will they have to deliver? 0. It's already there on the hub. Sounds just a bit easier, right? And what's more, EqHub is not installed on your IT system. Everything is accessed through a web browser. If it's on the hub, your colleagues, customers, and members can access the information. So how do you start using EqHub? Well, we've made that pretty simple too. Just go to www.eqhub.no, fill in the registration form, and you'll be up and running in no time. EqHub, by the industry, for the industry.